let's talk about sexy Middle Eastern fragrances for the winter. Alright, it's snowing, it's cold, people are wearing layers, coats, jackets, sweaters, scarves. I'm going to give you a couple of fragrances that will deal with the winter cold. These will pierce through the cold, and quite honestly, a lot of lists out there, they deal with very similar fragrances. Hopefully on this list you'll find something quite unique that will go through, you can smell it through the winter, you can smell it through the cold, through the sub-zero temperatures. This will actually, all of these fragrances, they smell great, they have a huge projection, and they will get you compliments as well. So they tick off all the boxes in all the departments. Okay, so first fragrance, quite honestly, I don't like this DNA. I'm in the minority here. A lot of people love this DNA. And this is Baccarat Rouge 540. This is an alternative to that. And I find that this fragrance here is actually a fragrance which, when you actually think about it, there's the extrait de parfum and there's eau de parfum, and this is a good bridge between those two. And you get the cotton candy vibe, the sweetness, and it really is a good bridge between the eau de parfum and the extrait. And this is Rasasi's Bareeq. So Rasasi's Bareeq lasts all like 12 hours, 13 hours on my skin. I personally don't like the Baccarat Rouge 540 DNA. I do not, I'm not sold on it. I'm in the minority, like I said. But if you like that DNA and if you want it for a less inexpensive option, or for an inexpensive option, this is definitely something you want to look into. Excellent projection, excellent longevity. You will smell it for days if you spray it on clothes. Rasasi's Bareeq. So this fragrance here doesn't get enough talk in the fragrance community, honestly, amongst ouds. This did not make my oud list because I didn't have it at that time, but I'll add it, a link somewhere so you can check out that video about my favorite ouds. This is an oud fragrance which is, I would say, really treads the line between the East and the West, where, in the East you have very strong, potent, atmospheric ouds where you can smell them from miles away, whereas the West we want more friendly ouds. And I think this is such a fragrance which really bridges that gap in between those two, where you have a fragrance where the oud is really potent, it smells like a really strong Eastern oud, but it is extremely wearable, it projects it magnificently, it has extreme longevity on it. It's called Faqat Lil Rijal by Rasasi. So this comes in a somewhat tacky bottle, it's plastic, not a big fan. So this is a boozy oud with a backbone of saffron and patchouli, so very strong components in this fragrance. I would say if you're going to wear this fragrance, you could spray it under your shirt maybe an hour before you actually go out, but this will last the whole day. And I think even though the name is Faqat Lil Rijal, which is like only for men, I think this, if a woman is daring enough, they can wear this as well. It's an excellent oud interpretation. I think it's just, the composition of this fragrance, you could bottle it in a niche bottle for maybe twice or thrice its price, and this would sell like hotcakes. This is not a barnyard oud, but this is by no means a tame oud either. This is an oud where it takes no prisoners in the beginning. It makes it known that you are there and that you're wearing it, but it's also a fragrance which I think, even though it is very strong and very potent, people tend to gravitate towards it and ask and are intrigued by the scent composition. This is Faqat Lil Rijal by Rasasi. So if you're thinking about a fragrance that has leather in it, which is a great note to wear within the winter, there's a lot out there for you. And the next proposition that I have for you is like raspberries and leather combined. It's a more tame version, and I know a lot of people like Rasasi's La Yuqawam, which is an excellent fragrance in its own right. However, this fragrance here I find is also extremely wearable, and I think if you find Tuscan leather or Rasasi's La Yuqawam to be a little bit too strong, this is the way to go. And this is Afnan's Rare Carbon. So Afnan's Rare Carbon honestly is really a good mellowed, I think for me when I've tested this against Ombre Leather by Tom Ford, I enjoyed this one more. I thought this one was more smooth and more polished than Ombre Leather. I think this definitely can have a place in your collection if you're looking for something which is a little bit sweet and has a good leather blend within it. So I really like this fragrance because it's just like I would wear this inside in the winter with like this type of sweater. People smell you when you're wearing this. They get a lot of compliments. If you're thinking along the vibes, this isn't like the one, or it's not like La Nuit, but it gives you that very sexy, alluring, sophisticated, mature vibe. Not mature in a bad way, but like intellectually mature, like a smart, sophisticated, classy gentleman. This is a fragrance that has cardamom, sandalwood, cinnamon, amber, and a little bit of vanilla. This is excellent composition when you put it all together. Not a Western sweet fragrance. This is Rasasi Sutoor Waaw. Right, so Sutoor Waaw is really this fragrance where it's very sexy. It has spices, a little bit of woods, a little bit of vanilla in the background. It's perfect and it's very unique, right? Because really, listen, everyone's gonna be wearing something. It's the holiday season, everyone's wearing something that everyone else is wearing. You wanna stand out in a crowd. I think this is a perfect, I mean, look at the juice color on this. This is a perfect example of a fragrance which is unique in its own right, mass appealing, gets you lots of compliments, and is really nothing like this out there on the market. This is Rasasi Sutoor Waaw. If you're enjoying this content, a sub to this channel would be amazing. Okay, so this last fragrance that I have on my list is really a great fragrance because it just, when you think about the composition, you're gonna say, oh well, I don't think this will work out, but it has tomato leaf, juniper berries, leather, all of these things coming together. It's vegetal, it's green, it has a leathery vibes, a little bit of spices. It's a lot of like greenery, vegetal herbaceousness with leather come together, all together. And it's just this very unique fragrance. I don't think in my entire collection there's anything quite similar to this. Anything I've shared with you on this list, this thing will last the whole day, and also stands out. So this fragrance is called, by Lattafa, it's called Abiyedh Leather. This fragrance is really, for me, a niche fragrance bottled in a designer bottle. Because this fragrance, honestly, it has such an excellent composition. It's so well blended together. Like there's nothing that is comparable to this. I really like this fragrance. You get a lot of Memo's Irish and Italian leather in this fragrance. It's a good combination of those two fragrances, but I would say it stands on its own, right? So it's really a unique fragrance on its own that no one will be wearing. So if you are interested in finding like a leather fragrance and you don't want to go the normal route of Tuscan leather or Rasasi, or something which is a little bit that, you know, the people it's saturated, try an Abiyedh Leather. I think you will not be disappointed. So let me know in the comments below what fragrances you are wearing this winter. Is there anything that you found that was amazing, something that you've never heard about, it's your first time wearing it? I'm just interested in hearing what people are wearing for the winter, especially in this climate where it's like sub-zero temperatures, and let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this content, a sub to this channel would be amazing, and I'll catch you on the next one.